Next option, we defer now the creation of the PDB on the standby. So our PDB is protected as soon as the data files are restored on the standby. So on the left side, this is our source, our non-CDB. And on the right side, we have prepared now our receiving CDB as a primary, and we added already a CDB standby to it. Now I will plug in and I will use the command create pluggable database standbys none. This will lead on the standby side of my PDB that the PDB gets created in the dictionary, but no data files are attached to it yet. They are missing. Then I enter Armen, and in Armen I do a restore pluggable database from service. And this will now restore everything needed for this pluggable database. Once the Armen part is finished, I enter the pluggable database and all the pluggable database enable recovery, and then it will recover everything necessary. That's it. You can read the entire process in this Moss note here, making use of deferred PDB recovery and the standbys none feature in multitenant. Or third option, you plug in on your new CDB, and then once the plugin is done, you create your standby from your CDB with all PDBs. Of course, the CDB is protected from the point on when the standby CDB is ready to take redo and is completely in sync with your new production. But how do we act, or what happens when we use now data pump and we have a standby in place? In this case, that's pretty neat. It works absolutely seamless. You just need to make sure that you set standby file management auto. Even in 19C, this is not a default. In 21C, this will become the default. And optionally, you configure DB file name convert. Then you provision a PDB on your primary CDB. So you create a PDB, it will be created as a clone of the PDB $seed, and this propagates automatically to the standby side. And once the PDB is there, you can start your data pump import, and all the import information, all the creates and inserts and whatever the import is doing will be flying over to the standby via redo applied to the standby PDB there. Or even table spaces get created automatically. So you see that is simple, straightforward. And the same applies to transportable table spaces. Now we would like to transport into a new PDB, and we would like to keep our standby in shape. So I have my source. Let's say it's on AIX. I have my target environment, my new CDB with a standby, and I already created, maybe it's on Linux, I already created a fresh pluggable database because this is the pluggable database I would like to transport into. So my table spaces, I have all of them here. What do? I restore my data table spaces to the CDB side, and I restore it also to the to the standby side. So it goes primary and standby. And once the files are all there, they are received, then to ease my life, I call data pump full transportable export import. So this will now import the table space meta information, and this information will come also over to the standby via redo apply. So the plugin operation will happen on the standby as well, and then full transportable export import will rebuild everything necessary. So you see, even that, very seamless, very straightforward. You just have to keep in mind that you restore your files not only to the primary side, you need to restore your files also to the standby side. And you find all this in the step-by-step processing of migrating non-CDBs to PDBs. In ASM file storage, there's a data pump full transportable export import with even incremental backups used here. And then finally, Golden Gate. So in that case, it's a fully supported configuration. We replicate to the primary database. So from our source to the primary database, changes then get applied to the standby via redo, as usual. We need an additional Golden Gate configuration to handle switchover failovers during the replication. That's a little bit Yeah, I wouldn't say tricky, but that needs to be considered. And new data files requires also, as usual, the standby file management auto, and optionally you configure DB file name convert. But I think this is a standard in a standby environment anyway.